Hello everyone, and welcome back to NinjagoCast. The dojo is open! You can also call this Third Wheel Cast. I'm your third wheel, Eljay.
I am Meso.
I'm Hayley.
And we're taking this bicycle all the way to the end.
Oh my god!
Third wheel cast.
Oh, that completely took me.
That was great. I love it.
I was like so in the mood for Ninjago. I was like hyped up. I was like Ninjago, and then that one just wow.
Third wheel cast.
I was debating, is it
you're
gonna
not
be
wrong.
Is it gonna be Third Wheel Cast, or is it gonna be hello everyone and welcome to the Meso and Hayley show? I'm your third wheel, LJ, and it's I was happy with how it went.
I mean, look. Normally, I'd say you're probably right, but I know this episode there's something you want to like rant about, so you'll get your time in the sun.
All right, fair enough.
Yes.
I do like being in the sun. That's why I look so tan. That's
Very
a
true.
lie.
Yes.
All of that was a lie.
Tan.
Excuse me.
I mean,
There's sun.
I'm not as bright white. I don't blend in into the snow as much. So
That's me.
yeah, that's. Oh, you haven't
I
even
guarantee-
seen me
I
in
guarantee I'm
person.
Debatable. I haven't seen you in person, but I didn't
guarantee-
realize you were in that one thumbnail because you
Okay.
blended into the
That
snow.
was-
I guarantee I'm paler than LJ. I guarantee
Mm,
that I'm
yeah.
paler than LJ.
Probably.
Yeah.
And I'm going to the beach next week, so.
Nice.
Yeah, the beach. I don't like the beach. I don't like water.
Because you can't swim.
No, I just don't like being wet. Like
And you have pool cleaner adversarial PTSD.
okay. We don't talk about that, okay? That's what my therapist told me. I like drinking water. Drinking water is delicious.
Wow.
Do you not like showers?
I mean, I shower, but I usually keep it brief.
All
I
right.
just don't like getting wet.
Okay. Fair. Alright.
But okay, so let's go ahead and get into let's get right into
Yes.
the news.
Yeah. It's
We
been
are-
a bit since our last episode where we
No.
decimated
hard.
March of the Oni about like 2 months ago ish. 2 months ago.
I
A lot of
would like
stuff's
to
gone
say,
down.
but before we really get into things, I'd like to thank Tommy Anderson.
Oh, likewise.
Who? Well, okay, you have a different reason for thanking him, but I'd like to thank him for being so patient with us.
I mean, yeah, that definitely is a big thing.
Like we try and be completely honest about how we feel about things because we really, really do enjoy the show. We enjoy the content. You know, it's our new Bionicle that is actually really good and high quality and a really decent TV show. And so
Yeah.
we only say things because we're trying to be constructive. It doesn't always come off that way. So thank you, Tommy, for
Well-
being so patient with everyone.
100%. Thank you. As a creator, I'm sure it takes an incredible degree of patience. The way I see it is us giving our honest feedback, harsh though it might be at times, is, at least this is how I view it, is me doing my part as part of the creative process. Like, I'm not on the team. I can't make the product, but these people make the product and they put it out there. And if I just gave like a phoned in or brief or like not in-depth discussion, analysis, review, in my eyes, I'd be disrespecting the work they put in. So good or bad, I have to critique it on its merit and praise what needs to be praised, criticize what needs to be criticized, in the hopes of an improvement later on down the line. So that's just kind of how I view it. It's because I love it that I want to talk about it,
Yeah, same.
whether it's good or bad. Like even Ninjago at its worst is still entertaining. Like when Hayley and I did our rewatch, like I believe Hands of Time to be like the worst part of Ninjago, and we still had a fun time watching that. It still has positive attributes to realize and talk about.
You guys
So-
finished it.
We haven't
No,
gotten to Sons of Garmadon, but because we were waiting for March of the Oni to come out on like good
Yeah.
quality, so we can just watch the 3 back to back because that's a fun way to do it.
Exactly.
But it's really, really fun because we watched the finale of Hands of Time and then instantly watched the first like 13 minutes of the first episode of Sons of Garmadon. And it's like such a great feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Seeing how much the show like transferred in that one break. It's like eye-opening.
It's like leaps and bounds
Oh,
in
yeah.
quality. So yeah, we can all say thank you, Tommy Anderson, for not only the work you do, but also just not hating us and everybody on social media. Because I know sometimes it's not easy, but rest assured, rain or shine, we'll be sticking with Ninjago till the bitter end.
I
Oh yeah.
I hope one day, when I grow up, I have a constitution similar to yours. Unfortunately, this episode will not be the time that prevails. So,
Well, don't worry. I will always be positive. I'll always be loving Ninjago, and I'm gonna be searching for ways to somehow make it better, even though it doesn't feel or isn't good. But
Use your words,
I'll
Hayley.
always look for the bright side of it. I promise.
All right.
I always see the good in Ninjago, especially with the new news coming out. I'm like, I'm
Yes.
not giving up on Ninjago. I'm never
Eljay,
giving up on Ninjago.
it's been a few months. Everyone was waiting after March of the Oni. What's next? Well, why don't you tell us what's next and give a recap of everything that's gone down in the last few months?
okay, so before we fully get into what's next, let's discuss very briefly what has come already. Now, we had March of the Oni, we had 4 episodes that released, however, we also had a movie edit that was aired on TV in the States.
Yes.
Hayley,
Yes, it's already been aired in the States.
how was that?
I saw it. It was fun. It was really nice to see it in decent quality. I wasn't expecting something massively different than what they showed to us, but it was different in ways that I didn't expect it to be different. First of all, there was no intros, so I never got to see Cole do his little thing in the beginning, which was really sad. They had a really cool like title sequence where they showed March of the Oni and it zoomed into it to the next shot. It was really, really cool. They had one scene that was in a different place. It was the beginning scene, I believe, to episode 2, was placed in between 2 scenes in episode 1. And then the big one was that after Cole falls, of course, this is spoilers. Hopefully, y'all have seen it by now. But after Cole falls to his apparent death, we don't know that he is still alive until the moment he comes back to the monastery to fight, and then we get the flashback to see how he survived. Which I think, if they had treated the fades or the transitions better, it would have been much better. Oh my gosh! Because we only knew Cole was going to survive because he was leaked in sets for the coming wave. If that had not been leaked, I would have honestly thought he had died. If they hadn't even mentioned him until the moment he showed up, and it was like, he almost forgot about me, and I would have, But it was really cool. It was a really interesting twist on how they did the whole thing with Cole.
So would you say that it's better than how the TV show did it, or would you say that it would only be markedly better if that's how we got it the first time? You know what I mean? If
markedly better, it probably would have been. If we had left the episode not knowing if that Cole was still alive, the whole fact of us not knowing that Cole was still alive was treated better in this. However, the transition was very messy for Cole, sending them back to see what happened to Cole. It broke the momentum of the fight scene. So that wasn't treated very well, but it was the whole emotion of, is Cole dead? Is he alive? That was real in the movie rather than the series. So that was really good.
Because I also feel like I would have been more forgiving of the whole thing. I criticized it to no end last time. I probably would have been more forgiving of it had the advertising campaign not hyped up the death, and if we did not have the weeks to speculate over it. You know what I mean? Because we all got a preconceived notion of what it would be like. If we'd seen it all in one, bulk like what you're describing, it probably would have been more palatable to me.
I said, the emotion was there. It was nonstop. As soon as he died, or quote unquote died, it was they were sad. They were sad. They were sad, but we have to fight. We have to fight. We're sad, but we have to fight. Here's the scythe. We have to fight. They're coming now. And then Cole shows up, and it's super fun. But then it breaks momentum of the fight scene to show what happens to Cole. He comes back. It's it's awkward transitions in both ends. But then he has a really cool shot with him grabbing the scythe, so it's okay. But yeah, that's the main difference. It was pretty awesome though. March of the Oni looks absolutely fantastic, especially in the good animation. We saw a ripped from YouTube, so we didn't get to see the full HDness. Oh my gosh, it's such a pretty season, so pretty. So So yeah,
I can't wait to watch it when it comes out on DVD.
Overall, I would say March of the Oni was a success. It wasn't amazing, but it was a success for what it was trying to accomplish, especially in the movie. So
I hesitate to go that far, but I respect your opinion.
yeah,
I will definitely agree that I, knowing what they're doing, which we'll be discussing shortly, I lean a bit more favorably towards it.
yeah. They were trying to do a lot in 4 episodes. That wasn't a very smart call, but they got it all in.
Cracking open
And
the
it wasn't
cold one
like
with the boys.
Oh yeah,
with what?
the boy and the girl.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm not a girl. Oh wait, sorry. No.
Wow.
Is my voice that deep?
Go on.
But I even forgot I was stuff. What was I talking about?
I think you were done. You were just saying it was a success for what it was trying to do. And I'm like, yeah.
I had some points that I was about to say.
Well, that's okay. We get the idea. It's really good. It's excellent. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the past.
Eljay, what's
There's
been going
the
on?
present. What's the present?
What's been going on? Starting with the trailer reveal.
Oh, okay. We're gonna start with that.
Teletoon. Oh gosh.
So apparently there was a video that was released, I will say at the very least, on YouTube, and it was apparently a commercial that was aired by Teletoons, if I'm understanding this correctly.
Teletoon.
Yep.
And it was like a 30-second, 90-second or so clip, a trailer, talking about Ninjago season. They call it 11. I'm not sure I'm ready to subscribe to that yet.
Well, they didn't mention season 11 in the trailer. It was put together piece by piece. That we thought it was a mini series at first.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So the original assumption was that it was a small, short mini series that we were going to be getting, kind of like what was that one thing that
Woo's Tease? Like Woo's Tease, the Legacy Shorts?
No. The recap episodes on YouTube.
Oh, the Decoded stuff?
Decoded, thank you.
Yeah, that.
I thought, so everyone thought it was going to be like Decoded, and the animation looked different. It looked vastly different. Like, apparently the facial animations looked a little different. And everyone thought it was going to be like 11 episodes, and they were going to be 11 minutes or something long. It's not the case.
There's going to be just a few.
It's not the case at all. It is going to be 11 minutes per episode, but it's going to be the next season, and it will have 30 episodes.
Yes. And we learned this from Toon Barn, was the one that tweeted out that it was 30 episodes, and that was when people were like, oh, this isn't a miniseries. This is season
people
11.
did the math back from Comic-Con, and they were like, there's 6+ hours of Ninjago content coming this year. They crunched the numbers, realized this has to be season 11.
Yeah.
But we didn't get official comment until recently.
Yes. Now, we actually do have official comment, and this was posted by Alyssa Harrington over from LEGO on the LEGO Ambassador Network. I actually never got to see this posted firsthand because we're still in that process. But BZ Power was kind enough to post everything on their website. So the following is: Ninja never quit. Ninjago March of the Oni marks the conclusion to an epic storyline which started in 2018. After a little vacation time, it's time for the ninja to get ready for a brand new adventure. The upcoming TV season will have 30 episodes of 11 minutes each, making it the ninja's biggest adventure yet. The season picks up shortly after March of the Oni and remains true to the story canon and the characters. This is not a reboot, nor a spin-off, but merely a brand new adventure. A fresh beginning helps new viewers watch and discover the magic of Ninjago without knowing much about the 100 episodes prior. But if you do know your Ninjago canon, it'll be a fast and fun, a fun and fast refresher course as we get everyone back up to speed. We want to make sure that Ninjago is a welcoming experience. The new season marks the beginning of a new chapter in the world of Ninjago. Whereas the first chapter was heavily tied to a 22-minute serialized TV format, this next chapter will not be confined to a specific format. The 11-minute episodes allow for new and creative possibilities for storytelling. Also, with the growth of exciting new formats like comics, in-world books, etc., that are extending the Ninjago universe, this new chapter will be more exploratory and creative. Our ambition to always be Our ambition to always keep Ninjago compelling and interesting is core to the continued popularity of Ninjago. For longtime fans, this season will feel both new and familiar. There will be many deep cuts, recurring characters, references to past events, and reveals of previously undisclosed lore from ancient Ninjago history. All of those components are core to Ninjago, and after all, the new episodes are being produced by some of the biggest fans of the franchise. Ninjago has become a world of its own, and we have been blessed with the opportunity to tell action-packed, engaging, and emotional stories to a constant stream of newcomers and longtime followers of the show. Hope you're ready to join us. The first season teaser will be released on May 26th.
Unfortunately, we're recording this on May 23rd, so feels bad. We'll be having another discussion in the near future.
Yes.
Once it out. This is thoughts before we get tainted with the information that comes with the trailer. I guess tainted isn't the right word. That's like a negative sense. It's like once, we haven't seen anything yet besides the thing for Teletoon. So, in which we got word from Tommy that the footage in there was ungraded. I think that's what the word is, ungraded footage. So it wasn't finished. Yeah, that's why it didn't look right.
And make no mistake, we'll be talking about that this episode. Elday's got some words to say, but I think a good place to start would be to just kind of discuss this at face value, this announcement, and kind of, I guess, hit a lot of the talking points. Namely, I think the number one thing I want to communicate to people is, Lego says it themselves. This is not a reboot. This is not a new story. This is not a new theme. This is a continuation. So all the people panicking about the start of Ninjago starting over again.
This is season 11. They said it right in there. This is
season 1 of Ninjago 2.
Yeah.
However, to properly check your expectations and also educate you guys a little bit, it is what I would like to call a soft reboot, based on terminology in the world of media, by which they mean it is a reboot in the sense that you do not need to know what's come before to appreciate the new material. It's a new start. It's essentially a way to unburden themselves of the baggage of past seasons while also not closing the door on them like a hard reboot would. It's essentially the best of both worlds, to illustrate comparisons of other popular soft reboots. There's the Star Trek movies, there's the Star Wars movies, there's, Bionicle G2 is kind of a bad example of one, but we now know that they intentionally were kind of leaving the door ambiguous whether or not it was connected to the prior thing. This one's a lot more clear-cut. And we know that some of the characters will be, consistent from the old theme, because I think one of the leaked episode titles has, scales in it. Am I right, Hayley?
Those might be fake.
It might
Those might be fake. So we don't have the episode names except for
it's got Wu,
four, I think,
it's got the ninjas, and it's happening after March of the Oni, so it's a canon part. But they are deliberately making it a jumping on point for new people that you don't need to know anything about the prior 10 seasons. So I would prepare everyone for the possibility that it might not be as referential as you would hope it would be. If they're trying to attract new fans.
At least in the first few episodes, or the first couple. They might start very episodic. If the episodes aren't already episodic, it's going to be very one and done until they probably build on to what they're getting to. But in the same way, Prentice, 1215, had a really good point. How most seasons other than Sons of Garmadon, Hunted, and March of the Oni, they all are sort of soft reboots. They all start distinctively. There's usually a time jump, and it's you don't really have to know what happened last season to start this next season. You kind of have an idea, but it's very different. This, however, is probably very different, because instead of 22 episodes or 22-minute episodes, they're 11-minute episodes, which means there's something completely different that they're doing here. I don't know if that means that the structure of the episode is going to be different, writing-wise, but
let me just point something out.
The villains are probably going to be the same way, where it's some distant land foes. It's not going to be anything similar. The Serpentine, maybe. We don't know anything about the Pyro Snakes yet, but it is the same. With Tournament of Elements is going to come out. The villains are coming out of left field. Same with Possession.
Well, let's
Skybound,
just
yeah.
let's talk
But
about
we'll
this.
see.
That a soft reboot is not the same as a time jump. Let me just make that very clear, because you could say that Tournament of Elements was a soft reboot, except it's dealing with the direct fallout of Zane's death and the effect it has
Yeah.
on the ninja. You could say Rebooted is a soft reboot, which is the closest thing they've done.
Well,
Except
Sons of
that,
Garmadon is probably the soft.
except
is
that
the
was
closest, yeah.
dealing with their, the defeat of the Overlord, and the ninja kind of dealing with the world after that. Lloyd with the golden power.
Yeah.
Sons of Garmadon is the closest one because it has nothing to do with
Hands of
Hands of
except
Time,
for Wu being
except that the freaking first episode reintroduces two of the characters with them searching for Wu as a direct result of last season's ending. AKA, the point I'm making, no Ninjago season so far has been what I would consider to be a soft reboot, because the purpose of a soft reboot is to reboot the theme for new fans. You know what a soft reboot is? Is the first half of Bionicle 2009 on Bar Magna, a complete new planet with 30 new characters that very clearly takes place in the Bionicle world because they reference great beings and stuff. It's very clearly part of the canon, but you don't need to know anything about the prior 8 years of the Matoran universe to get that story. And then they end it abruptly because they reintroduced Motonui in the summer of that year. But this season of Ninjago, what they've essentially done, and I didn't realize this until Hayley and I were talking about it, it's quite masterful. Over the last few years, they've effectively pivoted the theme back in a complete circle to go back to how it began in season 1, presumably with the intent of capturing those kids and lapsed fans and new fans with the same appeal the theme started off with. Because think about it, the ninja, they're all back together. They just defeated their greatest threat. They're lazy. They're chilling out at the monastery, their home, with the golden weapons, and Wu has to get on them about not wasting their true potential, and they have to go out and fight Serpentine while Garmadon is kind of roaming around the world doing his own thing and nobody knows where he is. It's literally season 1. They've gone back to season 1. And I see a lot of people leveraging that as a criticism. I'm not one of those people. I think it's awesome. I think it's genius. And I love how they did it without any of us realizing that's what they were doing.
Yeah.
Also,
even
they could
even at the end of Hunt or March of the Oni, we didn't even realize it until the conversation.
No, not at all. And it's different than what they were doing in Sons of Garmadon, because I knew they brought Garmadon back as a villain to try to recapture an old status quo, because Garmadon was a villain in the movie, and the public people knew Garmadon as a villain. Ergo, if they bring him back as a villain, it can cross promote with the movie. That's very different than what they've done here, which is essentially resetting back to status quo, but in a clever, creative way.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes March of the Oni a lot more palatable in that. Go back to, this is why they brought the golden weapons back. This is why Garmadon leaves at the end. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
But be wary, and just know that's what we're getting in for with a soft reboot. They're doing this for a reason. They're doing it to prevent fatigue for a long-running theme. It's almost been going for 10 years. Almost. Ninjago can't go the way of Bionicle, basically. You know what I mean? They're doing this to...
Yeah.
Because with Bionicle, it went on for 8 years, and every year built on one another. So if you missed a year, or if you were a lapsed fan, you would essentially be lost. Ninjago rolling the clock back is their way of saying, cool, we finished the first chapter of our book, and if you want to read this next part or watch this next part, you can do so. You're welcome. It's a welcoming environment. Just know that for us dedicated diehard fans, there may be a few concessions we have to make along the way for the theme to survive.
The biggest one is going to be character arcs.
Yeah.
By far. So the fear is if they revert back to opening a new book, which means we have to start over with these characters, and we don't want to lose all the progression we've gotten in the past 8 years with them to welcome new fans. We want them to continue building who they are, and I hope that we don't lose Jay and Nia's relationship. Hopefully they're still a thing, because they were literally quote unquote married last time we saw them. Zane with Pixel, Maybe Cole will have something to do now. Who knows?
Maybe.
But
Who knows? This is a
Cole,
perfect opportunity.
Cole, Lloyd, and Kai are like LJ has mentioned are pretty much the same character. Are they still going to be like that? Are they going to completely take away the personality of one of them, or like are they going to be completely different?
Well, you can't
So
take
it
something
could.
from Cole that he doesn't have.
Well, ha ha ha. The fear is that they're gonna maybe like take away a characteristic in order to give them a new one that isn't consistent with the past, 10 seasons for any of them, really, in order to give them a new arc for this coming new, I guess, saga of Ninjago. So hopefully that isn't the case. I have faith in Braggy and Tommy and everyone there that they know what they're doing. So
Well, like I'm gonna forgive a lot of this stuff they do. If they have to go back to episodic stuff, if they have to kind of roll the clock back on the tone for a little bit just to kind of reestablish a new status quo, I'm fine with all that. But the characters is something that I'm not gonna be fine with if they do worst case scenario. So if anything I would critique, it'll be that.
yeah,
I hope, like you say, that they put them in new, interesting situations and they don't recycle growth. Like Prentice puts it very well. If Nia has to complain about being the girl again, I'm gonna lose it. Again, even. She had her development, rebooted, took it away, and she's been getting it back ever since. She's a fully realized character now.
oh yeah,
She's her own person with her own abilities, skill sets, relationships, dynamics, etc. I don't know what more they could possibly do with her, but they better do something new instead of doing what they've done before.
yeah.
Same with Kai. If he regresses into being like the hothead who makes poor decisions
Who wants to be the most
and
powerful?
who wants to be the most powerful, I'm going to be irate.
Mhm.
If Zane can't relate to his friends anymore for some reason because he's a robot, it's like, all right, I'm not
Reason
down
why
for this.
Cole needs a season. Give Cole a season. Give him something to do.
Mm-hmm.
Please. It's the best way to avoid like recycling other people is
Yeah.
to have a character who hasn't really been given anything to have his personality change due to, an event. So
Mm-hmm.
please, Cole, come on, give him something good. It's his
Yeah.
turn. He's got the fancy new hat. This is please let this be his season.
And that's what I'm like most concerned about here, is that usually the way soft reboots work is with a time jump. A time jump to reestablish a new status quo, and they can put them in new interesting situations because people change after time passes. People grow, people change their personalities, they have different relationships, etc., etc. But this is like taking place, what, days or weeks after March of the
1
Oni?
year.
1 year. All right. Where was that said? Was it in the press release?
Or was it? Was it in the press release,
The
or was it?
press release said it takes place
Did it not
immediately
say?
after March of the Oni.
Really? Where did I see 1 year then?
Here, let me go ahead and bring that up
I
again.
don't know where I don't know where I saw 1 year, but I thought it was 1 year. But it happens
I don't
immediately
know.
afterwards, or maybe.
Yeah,
If
man.
it happens
sorry.
immediately after.
Correction. The season picks up shortly after March of the Oni.
Okay.
So, that's...
I mean, if it's 1 year
Right.
after, that's fine.
It's like almost every other like season jump. It picks up some time after this previous season.
Prentice says it was mentioned in chat earlier that Sons of Garmadon happens a year after Hands of Time. That could be what you're thinking of.
Probably okay.
Like, if it was a year, that'd be fine, but, because Sons of Garmadon worked pretty well like that, but if it's shortly after, that's what I'm concerned about. It's like, if they're going for a soft reboot with barely any time passing, I'm really curious how they're going to write for these characters.
That's a very good point.
We'll see.
I guess. Oh boy.
LJ, you got any thoughts on this? You got any worries?
No,
Any,
I mean, I have the usual concerns that I always do with Ninjago. How's the story going to be? How's the writing going to be? I've never really been concerned with the animation. Just the usual stuff. Outside of that, I'm sure it's going to be another season Ninjago. I guess there are some people saying it's going to be the best yet. We have no way of knowing. There are some people that are saying it'll be the worst and that it's a shell of its former self, almost a verbatim quote. We have no way of knowing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm eagerly awaiting what they're going to create and show us.
Well said.
Just for the love of God, if you put it on the internet alongside TV, have a consistent release pattern.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Like-
both that the episodes are now 11 minutes long instead of 22, so it's half of an episode length, and there's a possibility that they're going to release it on YouTube before Cartoon
Or some
Network.
kind of internet
Or some
format.
other, yeah.
I've yet to see anything that suggests it'll be on YouTube. However, it's not to say it won't be. I just haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, people jump to that because they mean it's an inference, and that's why I've been trying to stress. It could be YouTube, it could be Lego's website, it could be blah blah blah. Because the first chapter was tied to a 22-minute serialized TV format, but the next chapter will not be confined to a specific format, i.e., it could be on TV, it could also be on the internet, it could also be on the website, it could also be on apps, it could also be blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm. Immense is comfortable for that, but it's not comfortable for the way that Ninjago has previously written their episodes.
No.
So it's going to be
Number one being the release schedule is important for a serialized story. If you release it at random intervals with no build up, people won't know when to tune in, and their immersion gets broken. If you want evidence of this, look no further than Rebooted, which took months between airing their episodes and did it in 2-episode chunks to where most people completely forgot what last happened. Or Bionicle 2015, the G2 animations, where they would literally skip weeks or put the episodes up in foreign languages or do 2 a week, 1 week, and then none for a month. It was horrendous. It was horrific. At least with TV, you can know dates in advance. Listings get publicized. You know when to watch. So if they're moving towards a different distribution format, please make it knowledgeable for the fans to follow. That being said, the fact this was first advertised on Teletoon kind of makes me think it will still be released on Cartoon Network or a TV network in comparison, just maybe later or maybe at the same time. I don't know. What I'm most concerned about is pacing.
yes.
Because 11-minute episodes have very different speeds for their storytelling. The pacing is very, very different for that. I had a brief conversation with someone on Twitter by the username of PinKid11 who was saying, so you're complaining that Ninjago episodes are 11 minutes long now, huh? Most animated shows episodes are that long too. Usually paired with another episode, so it's 22 minutes long. 22 minutes is how long an older episode of Ninjago is. You're getting 15 episodes this season. Shut up. I was like, all right. I mean, yes, we're getting the most content we've ever gotten. But if that content is structured differently to fit a different time frame, will the stories be as good? Because either the episodes will just be shorter and they'll have to put less into that episode or streamline the stories to be super episodic, or every episode will be a two-parter and it's part 1, part 2, and at that point you're basically just having 15 episodes that you're splitting up just to get more content, which could affect pacing if there's pointless cliffhangers. Will every 11-minute episode be written to have a cliffhanger? Or will every 11-minute episode have to be written to have a definitive end? How will storytelling even work in this format? The reason why a lot of older cartoons did it is because they were episodic. Any of the older Cartoon Network shows, like Ed, Edd n Eddy is my immediate thing that I think of when I think of, 11-minute episodes and that working well. It's because they didn't need a lot of time to tell their stories. And they could fit a lot of variety into that 22-minute time bracket to keep kids interested. But if I look at a show
order.
Exactly. But if I look at a show like Teen Titans, which was a serialized cartoon that had a deep story, they didn't have 11-minute episodes. And it wouldn't have worked if they did, because their story needed that time to breathe. It needed that time to be told. So that's my main concern. And I responded to the dude, and I was like, there are legitimate concerns about this, like the pacing and a possible shift towards episodic stories to fit the runtime. He responded to me and said, you're still going to get the same amount of lore and runtime, plus 5 episodes worth more. I like to think this decision, Eljay, listen to this, will make the series come across, content-wise, more like Ruby than SpongeBob. And
But it's like SpongeBob?
SpongeBob also has 11-minute episodes, I believe. He's making that allegory that, I'm fearful the show will turn into that, but in reality, it's going to turn into Ruby instead. And I'm like, Ruby is not the comparison point for storytelling that anyone wants to have. Ruby's episodes, back when it still had short episodes, were paced horrifically with terrible writing, both in plot, lore, world building, and characterization. It juggled like 3 different groups of characters who never got enough screen time in the short episodes to develop in any way besides cool, flashy action scenes. And their episode lengths, when they were like, okay, cool, we don't have to do 11 minutes anymore, they always varied. We'd have episodes that were like 23 minutes, and then we'd have an episode that's like 11 minutes. And then we'd have an episode that's 15, and then we'd have an episode that's 8. That's not your benchmark for short form cartoon storytelling.
Also, Ruby sucks.
If anything, there is no benchmark for this. You know, a consistent story that goes from episode to episode with such short run times. Ninjago is going to be kind of doing its own thing here. Can't really think of a show to draw an allegory to.
It's very hard because Ninjago, it can't be really compared to shows like I guess Milo Murphy's Law, Steven Universe, other shows like that, because it takes itself very, very, very seriously.
Maybe it won't.
Hopefully it will. I mean, maybe it won't. In that case, it would probably be a mistake. But it doesn't. It cuts to the chase even in 22-minute episodes. There's they take their time on fight scenes a lot, and they it's animated very, very well. They're not doing quick flash animations. These are like super, super well rendered 3D stuff that they're doing. So it's a high budget, I guess high budget show. I don't think they would do little tiny episodic stuff